Welcome to the Soul Energy Podcast with your guide, Sara Wong. In each episode, we'll be discussing the energy that affects us in all aspects of our lives, emotionally, physically, mentally, and spiritually, from the voice of the collective soul. We'll also explore the science of energy, the spiritual side of energy, and the healing power of energy. This is a place to get the tools and knowledge to help you create a life that thrives on energy. I'm so excited to have you here. Let's get started. This episode is all about depression, the energy of depression. And of course, there's a spectrum. Depression can be extremely extreme to some, and for others, there's the other flip side of everyday depression, which maybe doesn't need to be medically diagnosed, but something you know you're working through. And it could affect you in different ways, in extreme ways. For some people, it could paralyze you mentally, physically, emotionally. For others, it's almost like you're just in Groundhog's Day and you understand the assignment. You wake up and you do the same routine over and over and over again because it's just what you got to do. And that's the life you're in. And depression can be an energy that blocks us from moving forward to a different version of ourselves. It blocks us in staying stuck in the past. It anchors us to past energies, past versions of ourselves. It doesn't allow us to evolve. So you're really anchored in the ego and down. So you're dealing with your ego, you're dealing with your emotions, and you're dealing with your everyday stability. So sometimes depression is something you allow in your life because the mundane is safe, you know how to work with it. And for others, depression's in your life and it literally it's you just can't see your way out of it. You're in it so deep and you're trying to find your way out of it. And there's so many different ways, so many different treatments, so many different versions of depression. So this isn't a simplified energy. This is an anchored energy. An anchored energy is going to be extremely complex because it's not just an energy that you can just remove from your life. It's an energy you absolutely have to unanchor yourself from. It's an energy you have to work through in a way that serves you. And again, it looks different for everyone. So just know when you're in depression, when depression comes into your reality, what are you holding on to the past? What energy or past version of yourself are you not letting go? Past result, past relationship, past version of yourself. There's so many versions of energy that doesn't serve us that can anchor us into these paralyzed states of mind and being, where we literally go to the same tools, the same vices, the same coping mechanisms to deal with the depression, to numb it out, to make it neutral. And that could also be medication of some sort. So we gotta do whatever we need to do and do it in the way that's most responsible. Because when we work through depression, it's in the collective energy, so it's available at any moment. That can come up through comparison and loss of income, not getting a job, grief. Any type of loss can trigger depression. Any type of energy that you once had comfort in that it's removed from your life can definitely trigger depression or even anxiety. So depression is definitely an energy that's easily triggered because in this reality, that is something that is almost guaranteed is we're gonna lose energy all in and out of life at different relationships, different moments, and in that, it's possibility to trigger these types of energies that can cause these energies to block us from moving forward. So depression is really an energy that wants us to reevaluate, wants us to learn from that past version of ourselves that we're anchored into, and until we truly learn and move forward, the anchor just is still there and it weighs on us. And in that energy of being weighed on, it feels almost like you can't even move forward because it's so heavy. Depression can anchor us so deeply into a habit that we just simply feel like we have to continue that habit because it's the only thing we know. And it's the only thing that makes us feel good in that moment. And sometimes depression is something we really need to step into and allow ourselves to process. And it could look many different ways. It's not just staying in the routine that doesn't serve you, but it's allowing yourself space and time to really go deep with this anchor. You know, anchors are heavy and weighted and take a lot of effort to remove in general. And I think that's the same energy of depression. It doesn't just go away. It's something we definitely all have to work through in different ways. So, how does depression show up in your life? How does that energy affect you? Think about times where you feel unmotivated, times you feel stuck, lethargic, out of it. And And this energy of depression might show up in some shape, form. Maybe you feel unmotivated for the day, week, months. It's again different for everyone. It could be hours. How do you deal with it naturally? Do you go to a coping mechanism? Do you numb it out? Think about the last time depression showed up in your life. What was your reaction to it? Just intuitively, what did you do? What comes to mind? Think about depression, how it shows up in your life, maybe a few times in the past. What were some of your coping mechanisms? Do those still serve you? Are those energies when they come up still bring you down? The woulda, coulda, shoulda, woulda's. I wish this would have happened. I'm afraid. I feel stuck. I feel lost. All that energy can trigger depression. So think about those moments. And think about how you reacted to that energy. Did you think about it? Did it make your mind swirl? Did it make your emotions swirl? Sometimes when depression hits our emotions, that can make us nauseous. So you might feel it in your stomach and feel nauseous, or you might lose your appetite because depression can hit in so many different ways, us mentally, physically, emotionally. So, definitely spiritually, it blocks all of our spirituality. So even just meditating and tapping into our higher conscious when we're in depression is huge because what you're allowing yourself is that space to open up to your higher self to say, hey, something's off. Support me energetically. Reiki is amazing. Acupuncture helps move that energy through the different meridians. There's so many different types of energy modalities that can help at least shift that energy. And it's not that depression goes away. It's just that consciousness opens up, that line of consciousness opens up again. And you're able to get ideas, you're able to brainstorm, you're able to feel a different type of energy. And sometimes it does require an external source to support you through that. And at Energy House, we actually have a lot of different healers that specialize in all kinds of modalities from acupuncture to human design to Akashic Records to Reiki. So check it out under energyhouselb.com under services. A lot of them are virtual if you're in the LA or Long Beach area. We do have I would say a sister company, although not related. It's an adopted sister. Abalone Point Acupuncture. She's located in Long Beach, California. She does acupuncture cupping. She has the Energy House crystal bed now available for add-ons for her Reiki sessions. She's also a Reiki master. So I would highly recommend, getting energy work done if you feel depression come into your reality because that means your channels are closed and it's an opportunity to reconnect to your higher self so you can deeply process some next steps, open up some possibilities, different types of thinking. Now, if energy work is something you're not into, then you can use your own practice. You can take a bath. You can do something you love. You can journal. You can seek professional guidance, whether that be through counseling or someone you trust and want to confide in. It's really up to you to navigate what's right for you in each moment because sometimes we need professional support and sometimes we just need to process the energy that's around us in a way that serves us. So always explore what that might be for you. And the energy of depression, I would lastly add, is it is an anchor and it's also an energy that's going to not allow us to progress, not allow us to evolve. And just to expand on that a little bit deeper, is when we're not evolving, our energy as humans becomes stagnant. And when we become stagnant, we become unhappy. And that's when the anger, the shortness, the energy that doesn't serve us and others comes out more. And it's almost impossible sometimes to feel happy, to feel like you wanna m get motivated again. It's almost like this darkness takes over and, people can get very angry, people can get very dark or closed off and shut down, and it's not because 'cause they're angry people, but it's the depression is so anchored into their systems that it's just rooted in their root chakra now, and that's all anger, that's all survival mode, and whatever that means for that person that feels the most safest to be, which could be, for lack of better words, a complete asshole. And so when depression hits, it's, just remind yourself, if you ever encounter people that are just really mean, it's not that they're mean people, it's just wherever they're anchored in is obviously a space that's not serving them, and they're not ready to do the work that's required. And that, again, everyone's journey is different. People can be in depression for minutes, hours, seconds. Days, weeks, months, years. And it's really a personal journey. And how that energy affects everyone is so different because even in our DNA, we have karmic energy of depression, ancestral energy of depression. So when energy is activated in our DNA, all those different types of karmic energies are activated. And what does that mean? To me, what that means is almost like all the lessons connected to depression that we have to work through karmically and through our DNA is activated. So that's why sometimes when that saying goes, when it rains, it pours, to me, that's what happens is when we really have these energies take over us, so much is activated that it's almost impossible to navigate through. And we don't have to navigate through and solve it all for it to deactivate. It's just we got to focus on that depression energy to deactivate that energy of those karmic lessons. So things can look a little more neutral and that is putting it simple, the simplest I can put it. So obviously this is super complex, so it's obviously not that easy to do, or else I'm sure most of us would just be skipping through life, but being a human is so complex, and I really feel being a human is just learning every single day and learning through energies, learning through what shows up for us and how we react to it, and taking time to consciously work through those energies and keep improving in our own way. And it's not for the better, it's really just wherever we're at in our journey. And that could look different for everyone. Some people might keep always move forward and always progress, and others might go back and forth, sideways, backwards, frontwards, whatever it is. Like, journeys aren't always linear. They're definitely complex and all over the place because that's a human experience. It can be messy. So just know when depression shows up, there's energy that wants to come in to support you, but you definitely are going to have to make an effort to let it in. And with that, I will see you next time. And that is this week's episode. What an honor to spend this time with you. Make sure you journal, reflect, and spend some time on this energy to see how certain topics that were covered apply to your reality and how you can move forward when that energy shows up next time. And for more services, products, content to support you on your spiritual journey, make sure to visit energyhauslb.com. That's energyhauslb.com. Also, make sure to follow us on social media, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. It is also appreciated. Stay in touch. Until next time.